You had to put a lot of money to buy like a gun or something, but you have to use your gun, but you never use your gun because you don't want to lose your gun, but the whole point is to use it. That's kind of how I feel about this.
To the top.
Well, he's just shush for a minute.
But how do these two measure up when we compare them? How are they different? And do they agree on anything? But first of all, what makes our two candidates who they are today? Donald J. Trump is a native New Yorker who obtained a degree in economics from the University of Pennsylvania and then took over his father's real estate business in 1971, aged at just 25 years old. Since then, he's expanded the business to include building and renovating skyscrapers, casinos, hotels, and golf courses, making Trump a household name. Not limiting himself just to real estate, he was the previous owner of the Miss Universe pageant, the host of a reality TV show known
That's kind of cool.
You're fired.
And was even inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2013. He has also gone on to write over 14 bestsellers, most notably The Art of the Deal, and he has made several cameos in a number of films and TV shows.
Down the hall and to the left.
But in the year of 2016, he ran for president in what is widely considered to be one of the most surprising and divisive elections in American history. And he won! This was much to the surprise of the political analysts and the mainstream media, who initially didn't take his campaign seriously. And up until results day, they were adamant that he would not win. He's the first president to never have served in the military or hold a government position prior to the election, and is also the oldest and the wealthiest president, even when adjusting for inflation. During his presidency, he made several controversial decisions, such as withdrawing from the Paris Climate Agreement and imposing a travel ban on certain Muslim-majority countries, as part of a crackdown on the terrorism scheme. However, he did deliver on his promise to help veterans by securing $73.1 billion for the Department of Veterans Affairs to go to providing quality medical care, and not to mention, it was his administration that was responsible for liberating ISIS territory in Iraq and taking out their leader, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Joe Biden. He was born in Pennsylvania in 1942 and started life as a lawyer with a degree from Syracuse University before becoming the senator for Delaware in 1973.
Then he was fully molded.
He was the sixth youngest senator in history and served for 36 years before becoming Obama's vice president in 2009. Having served for so long means that Biden has been involved with many pieces of legislation. One of his most significant acts as a senator was drafting the Senate version of the 1994 crime bill, the largest crime bill in the United States history, which included a ban on certain semi-automatic firearms, as well as creating new death penalty offenses. It also included the Violence Against Women Act, which Biden considers to be the most important piece of legislation he has ever passed. He also wrote the laws that created the Drug Czar, the guy who directs drug control policies, and introduced the RAVE Act, which aimed to help prevent the spread of date rape drugs. And in the year of 2000, he fostered partnerships with private companies to provide internet access, computer centers, and technical training to at-risk youth with the Kid 2000 Act. But let's face it, politics in general have become less about what candidates do and say, and more about how they carry themselves and their personalities. As we become a more media-consuming society, it seems that all that matters is who can pay the most, or who can be the most controversial. So how do their styles differ? Donald Trump is undoubtedly the bigger of the two characters, and his unique and abrasive style has divided the nation,
Mr. President.
setting him apart from any other presidential candidate. Using a brash and sometimes rude manner, Trump seeks to unsettle his opponents by playing by his own game, without telling anyone the rules. However, there seems to be something about his manner that certain voter bases find appealing, possibly due to it being so different from what one would
fucking
expect
comes,
from a
no
debate.
shit.
He often labels his opponents the establishment, simultaneously aligning them with the mess that people perceive politics to be nowadays. And he paints himself to be an outside force that is gonna make changes. During his campaign, he uses simple positive slogans to convey his perspectives. And even if you aren't into politics, you've definitely heard at least one of these before. Make America great again. Build the wall. Or America first. Even so, Trump's strength is also his weakness, with many finding his methods to be immature and offensive, thus making it harder for him to break through to new voters. Alternatively, Biden's style is more conventional. He's known to be a talker and is quite easygoing, which many find appealing. He makes an effort to show that he has faith in the voters, directly addressing them
That's
and
kinda
telling them to
scary.
vote, as he did several times throughout the first presidential debate, not wanting to be dominated by Trump's personality. During this debate, Biden let out a few outbursts, like the now much meme
How? Well,
he find appealing. He makes an effort to show that
I don't know. There's something unsettling about this picture. I don't know why. Just I feel like with a little bit of editing, I can make it really scary.
he has faith in the voters, directly addressing them and telling them
That's
to vote,
creepy,
as he
Joe.
did several times throughout the first presidential debate, not wanting to be dominated by Trump's personality. During this debate, Biden let out a few outbursts, like the now much meme, "Will you shut up, man?"
Will you shut up, man?
Showing there's some bite in him, despite being the older of the two. His campaign builds upon the divisiveness that Trump has caused, and it appeals to the voters that have been alienated by using anti-Trump sentiment in taglines like, "Together we can make Trump a one-term president." He has dubbed this election to be the battle for the soul of the nation, making it sound like a grand war to be fought, maybe to boost voter turnout, seeing as 2016 saw the lowest turnout in 20 years, with only 55.4%. But now, where do they stand on actual policy? Economics. Biden is in favor of increasing
Is this
spending
biased?
on infrastructure.
This looks biased a little bit.
Specifically on more public transport, increasing corporate tax and the tax rate for those whose income exceeds $1 million, and
Is
raising
it?
the minimum wage to $15.
Everything is biased though.
On the other hand, Trump opposes a nationwide minimum wage, saying it should be left up to the states to set their own. In 2017, he implemented the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, which reduced corporate tax to 21%, and continues to be for fewer regulations in favor of being more business friendly. Trump's own taxes have come under scrutiny, having paid only $750 in federal tax, although whether this is personal tax or for his company is unclear, but remains unapologetic for taking advantage of the loopholes, citing that the tax code should have been rewritten by his predecessors to prevent this.
Is
Both
Senate
of them
voting?
with a focus on bringing industry back to America to be worked by the American people, and to not be dependent
Can you
on the
vote
other
in a
countries to
state that
support
you're
their
not-
products. Foreign policy. When it comes to
You
foreign
know?
policy, China is a hot topic of this year. Both candidates have come out condemning the intellectual property theft that China has committed against the US. This also includes lax labor laws and the negative environmental impact. Although Trump has certainly been more vocal than Biden with his criticism.
China, people from China, they love me.
Other than China, foreign policy seems to have taken a bit of a backseat in this election, which makes sense given the current pandemic and the internal focus that many countries have been forced to adopt, though they may expand upon this at a later date. Immigration. Donald Trump has always been a strong advocate for enforcing immigration laws, and his Build the Wall slogan has become synonymous with those ideas. When he ran for presidency in 2016, dealing with the immigration crisis was at the heart of his campaign, and he pushed for more ICE agents, deporting all illegal immigrants, and cutting off federal funding to cities that refuse to comply with this law. But Biden, in contrast, takes a less aggressive stance, favoring programs that will enable illegal immigrants to become citizens if they learn English and pay fines. But it would toughen the penalties for employers who would hire them. He has also vowed to seize the building of the US-Mexico wall. Social. When it comes down to the legislation of marijuana, the two candidates both say that it should be left up to the states to decide. Though
I don't know what to
legislation
think.
doesn't look too far off, now that half the states have decriminalized possession, and it's fully legal in 12 of them. As for abortion, Trump, who was formerly pro-choice, has changed to being pro-life, working to stop taxpayer money from going to Planned Parenthood, whereas Biden, who was formerly pro-life given his Catholic faith, changed his stance during the Obama administration. His current policy would be to stop state laws that deny women the right to have an abortion, and do away with parental notification requirements, mandatory waiting periods, and also ultrasound requirements. Handling the pandemic. Trump has received a lot of criticism for his handling of the pandemic, keeping information from the public earlier in the year as to avoid a panic, and focusing on reopening the economy whilst case numbers continue to rise. In the debate, Biden blames Trump for the 200,000 deaths that have occurred in the US, to which Trump on the other hand responded that if Biden had been president, it would have been more since he wouldn't have closed the borders for travelers from China. When Trump banned travel
This
from China
chat,
in
dude,
Biden
guys, I don't know what I was thinking, dude. Let's just finish the video, dude.
and that Trump was the quote-unquote worst person to lead our country through a global health emergency. Biden has come out saying that it is not a choice between the economy and public health, but that if we cannot beat this virus, then the economy will suffer. He has called for smarter testing, an example being more testing in areas with high-risk people. On top of that, a better distribution of masks, and also making use of labs at universities to help with finding a vaccine. The presidential debate. On the 29th of September, we had the first round of Biden versus Trump, as they went head-to-head in the first presidential debate. While many people may not be able to agree on who actually won the debate, or who came out on top, there was a pretty much universal consensus that this debate was a bit of a disaster, with CNN calling it a dumpster fire. Both Biden and Trump talked over each other and the moderator, making it difficult to understand what was being said, and neither came off in the
Clark in the cops.
Mainstream media have labeled it Trump's fault, and that Biden was the clear winner. But other independent news sources have their own opinions, citing that neither candidate did particularly well, but that Trump came across as the better of the two. So there you have it, the American presidential election. Will Trump on one hand succeed and start his second term, or will Biden on the other hand be sworn in as a 46th president of the United States? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Other than that, that's going to be it from us here at WatchData. If you did end up enjoying this video, then make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and the bell to be notified when we upload next. And while you're at it, go ahead and check out some of the other content on our channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
That was fun.